All right, let's go ahead and set up our Colab environment. Make sure you sign in with your Google account, since we're going to use Colab residing in Google Drive. So let's go ahead and open Google Drive. Now here, we're going to go to the left, My Drive. And the first thing we're going to do is create a new folder called YOLO, which is right here. We are doing this so that we have the same folder name and folder paths so that the code will run for you as well. Now we're going to copy the Colab notebook URL that is in the video description, and we're going to paste it in a new tab. The first thing we're going to do is File, save a copy in Drive, and then go back to My Drive, and then scroll to where you see Colab notebooks and the file that we just saved. So here in the left, make sure you can see the recently created YOLO folder, and then drag and drop the Colab to this folder and step into the folder. Here we can rename it, remove the copy off, and let's open it. We can now close all the tabs to the right. Okay, so we have our YOLO folder right here with our Colab file. And what we're going to do now is clone the YOLOv5 GitHub repo into our recently created folder. We're doing this so that when we log out and start a new session, the information will be downloaded here and we will not have to download it again. So we only have to run this code once and use the files that are downloaded in our drive. So the first thing that we need to do is mount our drive and change our directory to the path where we created the YOLO folder, right here. So let's run this. We're going to click on Connect to Google Drive. We're going to select our Google account here, and then click Continue, and then scroll down and continue again. We're basically given permissions to mount our Google Drive. So the mounted has been successful, and I'm also printing here the list of files, which right now we only have our Colab file. Now we're going to clone the repo, which essentially is going to download all of these files into this folder right here. So let's run that. Now, if we go here, this folder has been created and it has all the files from the GitHub repo. Now we have to remount the drive again because we have recently downloaded the YOLOv5 folder and the associated files inside. So we want Drive to mount those files as well. Now here, we're going to install the Python packages that reside in requirements.txt. Essentially is this file right here. So all the different library packages. Let's run that. And I've muted warnings and non-critical errors. And now we're going to go ahead and download our YOLOv5l.pt model weights. So if we go here, you can see we don't have the weights downloaded. When we run this, you can see that it is right here, as well as if we refresh here at the bottom. Now we're going to show the current images that are in data images folder, data images, placeholder images that are part of the YOLO GitHub repo. But in our case, we don't want these ones, so we're going to go ahead and delete them. Here we're just listing them and then they're being deleted. Now we're going to install this library so we can download our image into our data images. So let's run this first. And now before we run this, let me show you the image. So this is the image that we want to download. However, it's not in an image format, as you can see. It's on a file view format. So we could download it and upload it, but we'll rather do it programmatically. So the path that we need instead is this one. If I open a new tab, now this image is now in a file format to be downloaded, unlike the previous one. And we can download this one in our Colab environment. We're just passing the ID, which is also here, but the URL format is a little different than the previous one. So this format will work. We're just feeding the file ID into here. Essentially, this is the URL. And we're also defining where we want that to be saved. In our case, we want it in data images. and this is the name of the image. And using the library gdown.download, we can download the URL into the selected path. So basically, if we go to images, now it's empty because we've deleted the previous ones, and now we're going to save here the Explorer image. And now the image is right here. If I refresh, so we don't need this, neither that. So now in summary, we have created the YOLO folder right here. We've been running this Colab file, and then we've cloned the YOLOv5 repo, downloaded the PyTorch model, YOLOv5l.pt, that we're going to use. And then here, we've deleted the previous images and downloaded the one that we will use for predictions. So now that we have run this section, we don't have to run it again. We have the code downloaded and the image that we want to use for prediction. So we could comment this out if we want to do run all, so it doesn't get executed, or we could just hide it and don't run it. Now, one last thing, we want to do file, save, and now we could close it and open it again. That's no problem because everything is now downloaded. So to prove that this works, you can see that we have a few variables here that we define, in particular these ones right here, file ID, URL, and output. If we click on runtime, disconnect and delete runtime, and we click yes, now everything has been cleaned. There's nothing in memory. So we can just close this, file, save. Let's close this and let's open it again. And now we don't have to do any of these anymore. We just did it once, and now we can go ahead and mount our drive, in this case to the YOLOv5 inside here. And given that we have our PyTorch model that we have already downloaded, we could just click here, mount our drive. So as before, connect. Okay. We'll have to do this once per session. And now we can go ahead and import our weights and print them here. And now we have our model loaded. We have the same that we had right here, where we loaded YOLOv5l.pt and stored it in CKPT.